Hey everyone, Jim Gardiner here, the host of the Inspirational 30. Thank you for joining us. For those of you that may be checking us out for the first time, this is a show where I get to sit down with some great people, just ordinary people who have inspired me and inspired others to do great things. Authors, entrepreneurs, wellness advocates, athletes, all with a story to tell. So my guest today, her mission is really self-care. She is a wellness advocate, an entrepreneur, a spiritual warrior, yogi. She happens to also be the owner of Good Life Juice here on Vancouver Island. Her mission is simple. She wants to provide a gateway to higher living. It's my privilege to sit down with my soul sister, Andrea Dershin. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Jim. Happy to be here.
Excellent. So we finally made it happen.
Yes, it's fantastic.
I know. You're a busy woman. I know.
That's how I like it.
I know, right? I know. Making juice, keeping people happy, keeping people healthy,
Yes.
right? So we actually came from a similar kind of path, right?
Yes.
I mean, we both kind of met our significant others in New York City. We lived there for a time, right? And that's kind of where this whole thing kind of took shape for you, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's where it began.
So you were a yoga teacher?
Yeah, I was teaching yoga in Brooklyn and Manhattan and was starting to get introduced into plant-based way of living, which led me to do my nutrition training with Colin Campbell at Cornell University. And then before I was even finished training, someone hired me to do a month of plant-based nutrition makeover, if you want to call it. So she hired me for 30 days of yoga and 30 days of plant-based eating and really holding her hand along the way. And every time we met, I would bring her food or juice. And once she started to get the juice, she just wanted, then she had to up it. Every day had to be juice and something else. So that's how I kind of really started to get into the juice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then, obviously, you've been in the wellness industry for many, many years.
Yes.
It's a part of you.
Absolutely, it's
right?
always been a part of me.
And so this is when you Good Life, where it is now, was germinated in New York. So. Is that where you kind of created some of your early visions, recipes, all that?
Yeah, really. It was like we decided, we had just had our second child, Leroy, who's now 4. So right after he was born, we knew we wanted to move back home to Nanaimo and be close to my family and help raise our 2 kids. We were on our own in Brooklyn, and it's tough as a parent. So we wanted to move closer to my parents. And I knew I wanted to launch a business. And I was toying between juice and a yoga studio. And really, once I started to do the research, because I was passionate about both, there wasn't any cold pressed juice companies at that time on Vancouver Island. And somehow I had the misconception it might be easier than running a yoga studio, which is totally wrong. So I felt like, yeah, let's do cold pressed juice. So I got myself my first cold pressed juicer, a used Norwalk, and started playing around with recipes and perfected my first line of juices while living in New York.
New York.
Yeah, and came up with a lot of content for my website and the name and started all that stuff there.
So that was all started in New York. So you actually created your own kind of juices. Are any of those juices still
They're
today?
all still there.
Yeah?
They're all still there.
Crazy.
And I think I have the strongest love for them because I spent a year on those recipes making them perfect.
Yeah.
And they were really veggie heavy juices as well, because one thing in New York I found was a lot of the cold pressed juice companies made juices that were really heavy in fruit and I felt had less stem of kale in them. So I wanted to go really veggie heavy. So that was my focus for my first 6 juices. And I also wanted 6 juices that would make up a day cleanse. So what juices, I had to have a balance in there too in terms of what different vegetables and fruits I wanted represented in the different juices.
Good. And but you do have an entrepreneur background, right? You were overseas, or you were doing something, right?
Yeah, that's where it started. I lived in Beijing for 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, I was there for 6 years, and I went over there to do theater originally, actually with an old theater buddy of mine, and then there was a cafe there owned by a New Zealander, and we were there like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We just hung out there all the time. But his menu had like a burger, a sandwich, bacon and eggs. So I asked him, if I teach your staff how to make some smoothies and salads, can you add them to the menu? Because I was dying for nutritious food over there. So he said, yeah, of course. And then he offered me a job, and it just sort of led to me managing the cafe, managing the restaurant, and then to going into the company with sweat equity. And we went on to open another store as well.
Wow.
So that gave me the bug.
That gave you the bug. And that also
Yeah.
gave you kind of a nice business template to
Totally.
work off of, right? So
Yeah, I had the best teacher. Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here we are. You decide you're going to come to this island. You're going to open up a juice company.
Yeah.
You're going to go from the big city, the hustle and bustle, to
Yeah.
the island, right?
Yeah.
So, take us through your first kind of, how did it start?
Well, we hit the round running. So we got here. I came 3 months ahead of my husband because he had some jobs to finish up in New York. And so luckily he also therefore packed up the house. So that was really nice. So I came here with the 2 little guys, lived with my parents. They would help out with my kids while I was writing content for the website. And then once my hubby got here in November, we house hunted, found a house, bought the house in December. January moved in, renovated, and then opened the business in April. So the first year was, busy getting everything kind of prepared. Then once we launched the business, we would just juice 2 days a week, and it was my husband and I would go down before the kids would wake up and make juice until one of them came in their pajamas and said, all right, we're up. So we'd kind of tag team throughout the day.
Right. And so, and when you say downstairs, it was literally downstairs, right?
So, yeah, and it was a little kitchen. So we renovated this little part of the house to be a commercial kitchen. So we had to meet all of the commercial kitchen codes. And because we're raw and unpasteurized, our kitchen has to be spotless at all times, has to be super clean, super sanitary. So all stainless steel kitchen. The first one was just tiny, and the type of juicer we used is really labor intensive. So it would take 2 or 3 people 8 hours to make 200 juices, for example. So it was really labor intensive.
Yeah.
You're feeding in 1 thing of kale. You had to cut your apples into quarters to put them in. Now our juicers, like you could put a whole head of kale in there. You could throw your apples in whole. It's much more efficient.
Good, good. So maybe you can kind of give us just an overview. Obviously the company has grown 2.5 years,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So how many juices do you have currently on the market?
So now we have about 18 flavors of juice, and next month we're also launching some wellness shots, some little mini guys, and then the month after that we'll be coming out with our food line of salads and power balls and nut butters and kale chips and all that kind of jazz.
Okay, good, good. And how many employees do you have?
We have, if you include my parents, because they volunteer for us and work very hard, we have 14.
Wow. So from hubby and wife to 14.
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
great. And your Good Life is available up and down the island.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
Amazing.
from Courtney to Victoria, we have about 20 different retailers.
Great, great. So I want to touch, because you use this term a lot, cold pressed, right? We've already said it was the first cold pressed juice company on the island.
Yep.
I know, actually, you enlightened me just recently on cold pressed, and maybe you can take it for the viewers as well, because I think we know there's a lot of juices out there, and
Right.
some juices have a longer shelf life, and
Right.
so maybe you can kind of give us the.
Great, this is really interesting.
It is.
And so cold press is the type of juicer that you use. Now, if you use a juicer at home that is a centrifuge juicer, which you think of as a Breville maybe, where you put in a cucumber and the juice comes out. It's a one-step juicer, right? A cold press, and what happens with that is it gets sliced by blades, rotating blades. So just like when you cut an apple, it starts to brown, it starts to oxidize. The same thing happens with that type of juicer. You have to drink the juice right away. And the juice gets a little bit heated from the rotating blades. A cold press juicer turns it's a masticating juicer, so it turns it into a pulp, and then the pulp is pressed with a hydraulic press. So it doesn't ever get sliced, and it doesn't ever get heated. So you get more vitamins and nutrients in the end results. It's full of enzymes, and it has a longer shelf life. If you bottle it right to the top, you get maybe 4 to 6 days, depending on what the content of citrus is in the juice. So that is, the cold pressed juice is the type of juicer that you use. A starter cold pressed juice is usually a lot more expensive than the other style. But what is on the market is there's cold pressed juices. So a lot of time, for years, cold pressed juice also meant raw. But companies now use a type of processing called high pressure processing, which is a type of pasteurization to extend the shelf life of cold pressed juice. So it's better than a heat pasteurization in that it's juices in an incubator with a lot of pressure, like the depths of the ocean, kill off the bacteria and therefore extend the shelf life. And you can leave it in there for a few minutes or longer if you want an extra few days, or if you want an extra few months shelf life. So when you go to a store, usually a bigger box store, and you find cold pressed juices that have weeks of a shelf life, you know that they've been processed, that they're not from a local juice shop that has made them and they are no longer raw.
Right. And I mean, I think it's important to note that it's still a healthy option,
Yes.
100%. It's
Yes.
just, maybe it's like super unleaded versus regular unleaded.
Yeah, it's
right?
it's like there's all these steps. I think everyone takes these steps towards optimal health and nutrition, and wherever you are along that journey
That's
is
right.
fantastic and it's different. So for some people, that's going to be a great option. And for other people, they might want to take it the next step further, especially if you're using it to fight disease. That's where HPP should be out of the question. So if you're using cold pressed juice to help fight disease, like cancer as part of your treatment, it needs to be raw because you need all those enzymes.
That's right. Good. Okay. So now, big news. Big
Yes.
news.
Yeah, we're opening our first storefront. Yay! So that'll open in a month.
In a month.
Yeah.
And so where's it going to be located?
It's going to be in North Town Center in Nanaimo, and it's this beautiful storefront with lots of glass, and yeah, we're really excited.
Is it a surprise, or can you kind of give us a quick little,
like what it'll look like?
Yeah, like we walk in and what can
Oh
we,
yeah.
can we
So
get juice
well,
and
of course it will be gorgeous.
Of course.
And super simple, lots of white clean lines and wood that we have repurposed from really fun places. My husband's really handy, and he found a guy selling, he'd ripped up some bowling lanes. So the wood from the bowling lanes we're making into some cool communal tables, and then just simple shelving. We're gonna have a big fridge with all of our juices and eventually our salads. And then we'll have some dry goods. So we use a lot of great superfoods and items that I want to introduce people to in sizes that can make it affordable to try it and take it home, like spirulina and maca and lucuma and all these great superfoods. So we'll have that, as well as organic nuts and different dry foods.
Great.
And then we'll also have some things that aren't ours. So just some things that are in line with our type of lifestyle.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciuse.
Yeah.
That's a big step too.
It's a really big step, and we're really
So
excited.
will you still use the house as the kitchen as
For a
well?
little longer, yeah. We'll use that as the kitchen. This will just be for our storefront, so we can really get out in front of the community and talk to people and help people. And for as long as we can, we'll use that setup. And then maybe in a year from now, we'll change to having a bigger operation where the two are attached, the kitchen and the storefront.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So let's talk about juicing,
Okay.
right? Let's just talk about juicing in general. Let's talk about the pulp of
The
juicing.
pulp. Okay.
Obviously advantages. I mean, this day and age, pretty much I think everybody knows that it's healthy.
Yeah.
It's a healthy option.
Yeah.
Kind of give us some of your, give us the ABCs of juicing.
Right. So juicing, it is a really powerful way to get a lot of vitamin and nutrients into your body quickly and easily. So when you're juicing, you're taking the pulp, you're taking the fiber out of the juice. Now, a lot of people, as soon as they hear that, they ask, but isn't the fiber important? And fiber is so important, but it's not one or the other. We're not saying drink juice and only juice for the rest of your life, right? So fiber is very important, and that's why eating a plant-based diet, you're getting tons of fiber in your diet. But with juicing, when you remove the fiber, your body has nothing to digest. And our bodies are always digesting. Our digestive system works harder than any other system in our body. So when we give our body the opportunity to rest while at the same time ingesting a lot of vitamins and nutrients, you gain a lot of energy because your body's not having to work to break it down. You just drink it, your body absorbs the vitamin, the nutrients, the mineral, and goes on with your day. So removing the fiber has a lot of benefits. It takes us about 2 to 3 pounds of veggies to make 1 bottle of juice. So if you can imagine 2 to 3 pounds of beautiful fresh veggies is being pressed into each bottle, you're getting so much goodness into each bottle. And it's great for glowing skin, it's great for your digestive system, it's great for your gut and your gut health. Yeah. It gives you more, the enzymes boost your metabolism, it fights disease, and there's different fruits and veggies that of course have different benefits for specific ailments as well, right? And even if you were healthy and you weren't looking at it for specific health reasons, it just makes you feel good because you're getting all of those fresh, live, real foods, and it shifts your cravings. So if you're someone who right now is relying on a lot of processed foods, if you can replace like once a day a processed snack with something that's live and real, it starts to shift your cravings. Because I really believe that when you eat crap, you crave crap, and when you eat and drink beautiful foods, you start to crave.
Well, I think that's it. I mean, the whole gut biome, that is a huge thing, and it's shown that it can be altered. Yeah. So, just like you were saying, when you take the pulp out and it's almost like an instant absorption,
yeah.
So that it is going to affect the gut biome more instantly than other foods, right? And so I think you're right, and I think from an athletic standpoint, I got into juicing strictly from a performance standpoint, and then it kind of morphed into health and wellness and all that. But there's so many benefits. I know just with doing juices with beets. I mean, my aerobic output has gone through the roof.
Yeah,
I mean, it's no secret. I mean, it's out there.
Yep.
Most of the high performance athletes, they use it.
Yep.
But you also can do, I think you said about fighting disease, and I think that's something that people are always, that's a big thing that looms over people. Oh, man, I don't want to get sick in life. I don't want to come down with something. And so
you have to take care of your health and fight it, and it's out there. There's no denying it, and you and me once said before, like, there might not be a magic bullet to health, but the closest thing to a magic bullet is a plant-based diet. And a healthy plant-based diet is so well complemented by fresh juices that it really can help you fight disease, because it's reducing inflammation in your body, which is another big contributor to disease. And it's giving you that energy to go out and be active. It's giving you the cravings to keep eating well and just live a vital life. Like, there's fighting disease, and then there's also just a life that you enjoy living and having the energy to go out there and enjoy it every day and feel good in your skin and confident in your body. And
right, and I think that applies to the everyday person, right? We don't have to be, you don't have to be a super successful entrepreneur. You don't have to be a high performance athlete. You can be Joe Blow, but just to feel good.
That's right.
Waking up and walking to get the mail and feeling good about life, that's what's really important, and I think it seems like, in my opinion, is those people are the ones that haven't quite grasped this yet. It seems like in my case, people that are want to be healthy or want to be athletic or whatever, they're easier to kind of say, hey, maybe I should try this, maybe I should try this, but the people that maybe are just kind of confident with what they're doing, living day to day, maybe not so much, it's one of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, until you have really started to just like make food choices for vitality instead of for vanity, you'll always be looking for a quick fix, right?
Can you say that again? Because that was brilliant.
Oh, when you are making choices for vanity and not vitality, you'll always be looking for a quick fix.
That's right.
And there's a lot of quick fixes out there, and there's a lot of programs and things that people can do to get them, maybe if they're feeling overweight and they want to lose some weight, to get them to here, but are they feeling more vital and choosing these foods that nourish their bodies and make them feel amazing, or are they just choosing foods to make their body look a certain way? You know, and when that change happens, you enjoy preparing food for the joy of preparing it, because you know that you're doing a ritual to nourish your body and to be healthy and to live long. And, you know, that's a journey that some people get to and some people don't. I hope more and more people will, because when you can make that switch to, what do I want to put in my body that's going to make me feel amazing? What am I going to put on my body that's going to make me feel amazing? You know, it's just a richer life to live, I think.
Right, and I think that stems from what I said in the beginning about, I mean, one of your mission is to create a gateway to higher living.
Yes.
And by that, you mean all-encompassing, right?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
so, you know, yes, you have a very successful juice company, but that isn't just the magic pill, right? No. I mean, that's just one piece of the puzzle to living to your potential, right?
Absolutely. Anytime I have the opportunity, someone who's doing a juice cleanse, and I'll say especially women, because if I can give them that opportunity to remind them that while you're doing this cleanse, we're going to nourish your body. Every cell of your body is going to be nourished. You don't have to worry about that. But if you can take this time to think, how am I going to nourish my soul and my spirit? How am I going to slow down and go for a walk and take a bath and appreciate life and send myself some positive messages along the way and just really love myself exactly as I am and say, today I'm perfect. I don't need to change a thing. Just start to love me now. We'll take care of the nutrition part of it. Whenever I can, I will encourage women to do that, because I think that food is a part of it, but it's it's a holistic approach to your life and your health, your mind and your family and your community and giving back, and all of those things need to come together.
And I think your husband will say that you need to kind of go out for a walk too, right?
Yes.
And so that, but mindfulness and finding some spiritual time for yourself has also been a key ingredient to your success, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And I think that's why I want to spread that message so much, because for myself, you know, I'm a type A personality. I'm a perfectionist. I work really, really hard, and I can be really hard on myself. And as an entrepreneur, we have a tendency to link our self-worth to the ups and the downs of our business. So your business is doing really well. You're like, yeah, that's awesome. Then your business is not doing well, and all of a sudden, wait a sec, is that me that's not doing awesome? And it can be really hard. So pulling myself away from those ups and those downs and keeping myself grounded, that no matter what my business is doing, I can feel solid and grounded in who I am. That came from my mindfulness practice, my meditation practice, and slowing down and giving myself a break. And, you know, it's helped me so much. And like you mentioned, if my husband can see it, you know, when I'm just not my most joyous self. And if he sees it, then now he knows. He gives me a break and takes the kids out and says, why don't you go meditate? And it's like, that's my magic pill.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I mean, we are going to wind it up here, but I think I also want to say real quick, so you have two young kids, and I think obviously indirectly you're providing them with the tools and the knowledge to kind of live a better life as they get older, right?
Trying.
Yeah, trying. Just curious, you know, how do you draw the line between them being kids and you being, you know, plant-based, have your juices, have your veggies, like, you know, that's because I deal with it too. It's a tough
one to do, you know. Luckily, you know, my kids are a testament to drinking a lot of juice affects their taste buds. They drink a lot of juice, and it really helps what foods they're into eating. You know, they do like eating a lot of food. They're completely opposite. One will eat, you know, Brussels sprouts and bok choy, and the other one will only have like raw, uncooked veggies that are very standard for a kid. But we have some pretty clear boundaries in our house that has helped us. The biggest help is Treat Fridays. And so they don't get refined sugars Sunday afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the rule. And then Friday rolls around and our whole family's like, treat Friday! So after school, I take them and we go and we buy a treat to bring home. And that way it's not in the house all the time.
Yep.
So that helps a lot.
Good.
That and like feeding them, they eat raw first is another rule in our house. So for breakfast, they're gonna have a piece of fruit before their regular breakfast. And for dinner, I give them a big plate of veggies before they even sit down. So while they're hungry, they like munch on that. So I don't think they feel they have rules. I don't think they feel that way.
I've been dying to ask you though, do you pack little mini Good Life in their lunch kits?
Once in a while I will, but not too often.
Well,
That's funny.
I don't know if
Mostly
you have,
because
like,
they
these
need an
kids'
ice
bottles.
pack. Well, actually, starting soon we do, which is amazing. Starting at the new store we do, we're having half size because they're better for the kids and they're called minis. So they're half size and the kids love them. So I tend not to just because then they have to schlep a ice pack with them to school.
Yeah,
so they usually have it for part of their breakfast and part of after school snack.
Good. Well, good stuff. Real quick, we got about 2 minutes, but a couple of snippets or words of advice to we have wellness people out there, we have entrepreneurs out there. We have people that just want to be better people.
Be better. Just take care of yourself.
Self-care.
Self-care in whatever it is you're doing with your routines, putting on your skin lotion, putting on your makeup in the morning, making yourself a nourishing dinner. When you're doing those things, be mindful of what you're doing. Take a moment and appreciate that you're doing something to take care of yourself. And every day, try to find ways to take care of yourself. And at the end of the day, stop and say, have I nurtured myself? Have I nourished myself? What could I do right now that would nourish me? And maybe it would be reading a book or writing your journal for 20 minutes before you go and watch your show. Whatever it is, just really take care of yourself. And there's nothing wrong with putting yourself first and loving yourself and telling yourself that you love yourself. Yeah, so send yourself some love.
Words to live by from Andrea. Look, a lot of amazing stuff today. I think that's it. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. It's okay to be a little selfish once in a while. Look, everyone's looking for that magic pill. It doesn't exist, but you know, you can't go wrong with a predominantly plant-based lifestyle. Juicing is a great option. Blending is a great option. You know, these are things that can kind of be the catalyst to get you to that next stage, whether it's off the couch, whether it's starting a business, feeling good about yourself, whatever it may be. But I wanted to thank Andrew for coming in today. Amazing story. Congratulations on your company, on your storefront. And for all of you out there, just keep inspiring. We all have a story to tell. And you know, you too can be someone that's living in an apartment and coming up with some crazy ideas when your husband's spinning records, and you could be the next Andrea Dershin. Anyway, thank you.